Welcome back everyone to another episode of The Road Chose Me. My name's Dan, and on today's episode, the one you've all been waiting for, the interior of the Jeep camper has been built. So let's go today. I'll give you a full tour, show you what it all looks like top to bottom, the reasons why, what appliances I included. Here it comes, the interior of the Jeep camper. So you know me, you know I try as hard as I can to build everything myself and do everything on a budget. When it came to the interior, I originally thought I would do it myself, but then hanging out with Michael, working with him, seeing the level of quality on this vehicle, I realized if I built the interior, I would always be disappointed. The quality just wouldn't be there. The reality is I don't have a workshop, I don't even have a table saw, I don't have a garage. So all of that would have been difficult, especially with winter coming fast in Canada, tons of snow on the ground. So what I decided to do is I had Goose Gear build the interior. So Goose Gear are based in Huntington Beach, California. They've been building premium vehicle interiors for over 10 years now. Expedition Overland use their interiors, obviously use them a lot all around the world. These things are tried and tested, quality construction, really durable. And Brian from Goose Gear, maybe he's a tiny bit OCD, and so he spent a ton of time in CAD designing all of this before they then laser cut it and CNC machined it. Wait till you check out the quality, the fit, the finish. This is what a premium vehicle interior from Goose Gear looks like. And right off the bat, you can see it is this kind of light bamboo color for most of the timber. And then the main bench top is this smoked bamboo that I think just looks incredible. The workmanship, the latches, the hinges, all of this, Goose Gear have obviously been doing for a long time now. They know what they're doing. We get our big kitchen drawer. We've got an upright Dometic fridge. I've gone for induction cooking this time around. That's something I've never done before, but I'm really excited to see the pros and cons. How much power does it use? How quick it is to cook, all of that sort of stuff. Obviously, we've got a sink over here as well with the lid. I still need to install a faucet and the drain. All of that isn't finished yet. Across the front, we decided to put in a whole bunch of storage cubbies. I think this will be brilliant for putting light things, maybe clothing, jackets, anything that's not too heavy. And what Goose Gear decided to do, instead of putting cabinet doors on here, you'd have the weight of the door, the hinges, the latches, all of that. We've just got bungee straps. So when we push clothing or whatever in there, the bungee straps should contain it and keep everything in there. I really like this approach because it really just highlights and focuses on weight is such an important consideration. It is number one on any Overland vehicle, and especially when you're building it on a Jeep. So to keep the weight, as minimum as possible, I think is really, really smart from Goose Gear. Down here, we've got a bench seat. In the future, I'll be making cushions for this. I'll sew some covers. I think I'm gonna have those nice wedge-shaped cushions here that are a bit fatter at the bottom and then they get thinner as they go up, so that when you sit, they give you really nice back support. Obviously, there's a couple of hatch covers here so that you can get into whatever we put in that storage. Around the side here, a really nice detail from Goose Gear. They have put in a cabinet here right beside the driver's seat that has 3 little cubby holes. There's another one down even lower that you can reach either from when you're in the camper or when you're in the driver's seat. I think it'll be the perfect place to put some snacks for when I'm driving, but also, I can put clothes there. I can just use that space instead of it being dead space. That's the kind of detail that Goose Gear think about because they've been doing this for so long and because they themselves use the vehicles that they build. And then you can see the whole big kitchen countertop. Katie and I love to cook. We love to eat really good food on the road. And if we're going to live in this thing long term, we want to be eating well. We want to eat tons of vegetables. We don't just want to eat ramen noodles or buy pizza every night. After a month, we're going to feel terrible, and that's not how we want our trip to go. And so what we decided is one person can be sitting here on the bench seat. We will have a table here that comes off a mount and has a tabletop. We still have to install that. It's just sitting over there on the ground. So there'll be a table here. One person could be reading a book, working on a laptop, whatever it is. The other person can be standing over there at the kitchen bench top. And you can see, if Katie was standing there right now, I can't even touch her. And that's not even, if I move into this corner, have something nice to rest my back on, Katie is now so far away from me. Another person could be sitting next to me, and we have tons of space. Again, this is all on a Jeep. This is just weird to think about. And you can see the amount of storage space that has been included here is absolutely enormous. So much bigger than I ever would have thought possible. And so obviously we've got some work to do to finish up the plumbing, finish up the wiring. There's a lot of interior stuff to come, but that's my job coming up next. And then we'll just have to figure out how we want to division things, how we want to allocate space. Everything needs to find a home where it will permanently live, and that'll all come as time goes on. And then across the back wall, Goose did something similar to what they did on the front wall, where we have a whole bunch of cubby holes that have bungee cords on them, just to keep things organized, keep things from jostling around too much, but also to keep it as light as it possibly can be. And this is really handy because this whole storage, it just uses up the 6 inches that was the departure cut. So we haven't really lost any floor space, but we've gained a ton of storage. I think this one down here will be absolutely perfect for putting shoes in, maybe something else heavy on the bottom, and then obviously lighter things as we get higher and higher in the storage. Absolutely incredible. Same goes here. It just is cavernous back in here. We can change the height of this shelf if we want to, once we figure out what we're storing. So much room back in there. I think we're gonna have a lot more storage even than we need, which is pretty nice. And we also have this living space, which really was the goal of the build all along. And I should mention too, obviously I have the roof off right now because it's so much nicer to walk around in here and get a feel for what it's gonna be like when the roof is popped up. Because the roof that we've built, it is gonna be a pop-up. It will have canvas all here. There'll be zips and windows, so there'll be natural light coming in. It'll feel like this, except of course there'll be canvas right here. But in terms of my head clearance, it'll be this at least, maybe even more. So that is why we took the roof off. That's so we could get a really good feel for what it's actually gonna be like. And you can see, we can hang out in here comfortably, be warm, be dry, be out of the elements. This is gonna feel like an apartment on wheels. I'll be able to do my video editing on a laptop. We'll be able to cook really good food, even just read a book, even get away. I've learned that on all my trips around the world. Sometimes the greatest thing you can do for your own sanity is just have a day to yourself where you're not out in the wind, in the dust, the mosquitoes. You want some sanity, you want to like regroup, ground yourself, and then the following day when it stops raining or whatever, back outside, back on adventure, and you're ready to go again. And you feel good, and you're happy to keep adventuring. When the trip turns from weeks into months into years, this kind of sanity, this is going to change the color of the trip. And after years, I won't be saying, I'm exhausted, I need to give up, I need to do something else. I'll say, this is fantastic, I want to do more. Like, I'm loving this because we can park this thing anywhere in the whole world. The possibilities of what could be just outside these walls, it could be glaciers or volcanoes or elephants or lions or tigers, deserts, jungles, all of it. We can just drive this to that, and then we have this little house with us, cook all of our own food, have all of our clothes, all of that kind of stuff. In terms of creature comforts, there's a lot more to come on the build yet. As I said, I have to finish all of the wiring, still have to do the electrical system, battery, solar panels. There will be a diesel heater coming. I need to install that. I am going to have running hot and cold water this time. So I need to install a water tank, I need to install a water heater, and then obviously I need to plumb it all into the sink. As well as that, I'm planning on having the ability for an outdoor shower, probably right outside this wall to keep all of the plumbing stuff in one region. So there'll be a way to hook a shower head on the outside. Maybe I'll bring a collapsible tent. Maybe we'll just shower outside in our bathing suits. Haven't actually nailed that one down yet. So there is obviously a lot of work to go, but in terms of the interior, this is a dream come true for me. This is the kind of vehicle that 15 years ago when I drove the Pan American Highway, I saw Europeans driving vehicles like this, and it was just a dream of like, I wish maybe one day if the stars align. And I still am pinching myself. I only picked this up 2 days ago, and I'm still pinching myself at the quality, the level of detail, the fit and finish, the precision, how enjoyable it's going to be to spend time in here. This is going to change so much about the way that I overland and how it feels to be on the road. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for checking out the interior. As always, I need to say a huge thanks to my supporters over on Patreon. They've been collaborating with me on this for months now. We've been sketching and drawing and talking about what the options are. If you'd like to get in on that, if you'd like to get behind the scenes early access, there's a link in the description. You can check out my Patreon right now. Supporters over there, we have a great little community going of like helping each other out, and you know, everyone hopefully can learn and grow from everyone else's experience. That's all over on Patreon. Check that out. And until next time, when the build continues, there was obviously a lot of work to do. We have to design the bed, which will be up here somewhere. We have to design and build the pop-up, the canvas, and everything else I just mentioned for the interior. We are getting there one step at a time. This is going to be incredible. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. The interior build out, incredible.